Hello, everybody. It's your old pal Chuck, and I am back with another review. And once again, I'm excited to bring you this figure. And it is, if you can't tell, from Transformers Legacy Evolution. This is Leader Class Armada Megatron. Now, I got this figure from thecommandstore.com. It is available. It's actually out of stock there right now, but it should be shipping soon from other retailers, maybe, depending on how they get their stock. Actually, judging by the shipping box, Command Store got a solid case of two Armada Megatrons, so there's that. But I have to say, this is a fun figure. It is small. The figure is packed in tank mode. Um, it's also one of the easiest leader class figures I've had to transform, and in fact, it's probably the easiest in recent memory. Um, that might be a deterrent to you, might not be. Funny enough, there are no Minicon ports in vehicle mode. We do know the rumors that this is going to be repainted into Armada Galvatron, as the original choice was. There are plenty of ports on the side. That is part of the legacy gimmick. And the barrel of the tank is removable and comes packaged separately. So there is that. But it is, you can fit some blast effects there. I think you do have some fun. Now, while this toy can recreate some of the gimmicks of Armada Megatron, it cannot do them all. As I said, there's no Minicon ports. The recoiling action on the tank barrel does not work. This section does pop up, but the missiles are not removable. But this section just friction pegs in, so it makes me wonder if this is removable so the part can be swapped out for a retool, and it does snap back down like that. One thing I should also mention is, at least on mine, when I got the figure, there was some rattling, and it appeared that one of the horns here had actually come off, and basically the second one was coming off, so I took it off. They just peg in. I'll show you how to do that once we get to robot mode. But other than that, for the tank mode, there's no working treads, but it does have some wheels. Rolls very nicely, very smoothly. But again, this is a very small leader class figure, and if I'm being honest with you, the parts count, I'm not sure if it adds up to leader. But let's get into the transformation, and you can be the judge. Okay, start the transformation. You want to come around the back here. We're going to flip up the feet. The feet actually do friction very tightly into place in both open and closed positions. On mine, this foot right here, very tight and requires a deal of force to peg in. Next step, want to come underneath, and what you want to do here is lift these panels up lightly. These actually secure the peg into the midsection there and secure the legs into place. The legs also peg in. There's a green tab here into that black side. Now, the instructions say this is about 23 steps, and that's because they break a lot of steps down. But I'll be honest with you, after the first transformation, you're going to end up doing like 2 or 3 steps in one shot. For example, you just extend the legs and close that panel. That's like 2 or 3 steps right there. I mean, really the way they show you to do is fold that out, fold the leg out to the side, close the panel, bring it down. So there you go. And of course, trying to make sure we get Megatron in all its shot here. Come around to the back. What you want to do now is the turret actually tabs into place on that post right there. You want to open that up, and what that will do will give you enough space to rotate the legs around, snap that shut, and rotate the turret down so it's on an angle. It doesn't lock into place. It's just, I guess, for decorative. But you basically have now the lower section of Megatron done. Next, what you want to do is come up here, and these Decepticon symbols, you want to flip them up all the way. Those are the, I guess you can say, shoulder flaps, and they do tab in to that post right there, as well as kind of sit over that orange section. But what really secures the arms into place is this black section here. Now the instructions show you one way of doing it is once you have those flaps up, come in, detach that black section, and rotate it down so it's under the breast section right there, and it fills in the torso. Then what you can do is bring the shoulder down and on that gray hinge, and then rotate it up on the green hinge, pushing it down so it secures into place, and then you can bring that panel down. An alternate way I found is that if you just bring the whole section down all the way while the shoulder is still connected to that breast section, that under breast point, and then just bring it up like that, you save a step or two. I mean, it's up to you. This is a lot. It's very easy to transform this figure. There's a lot going on. Next, we want to open up the panels here on the sides of the shoulders. Just get in there. And then what you can do is flip out the arms, flip out the hand, bring it down all the way, close the panel. Repeat again on this side. On my copy, the arm is a little tighter, so it might take a little bit more to get it out. And then close it up. I will mention that the shoulder panels really don't peg into place. They don't rotate, but the arms move out to the side. And if you bring up that panel, they do move forward. So you do have some good arm articulation. You just got to work with it a little. Also, I'm sure as you can tell, the hands are molded differently. Whereas this is, if you remember on the original toy, Megatron had a flip-out shiv that unfortunately missing, but they've left the hand there. And a nice little expressive hand. So there's that. There's more to the hands, and we'll get to that a little bit later on once we finish the transformation, which, to finish it off, open up this chest piece, flip up the panel that was covering Megatron's face, close it up, and there we go. Get that shoulder down all the way. And there we have Megatron in its robot mode. Now, as I mentioned, in the packaging, one of his horns came detached, and they simply are on two posts that peg in very easily to the head. And I have to say, the head has a lot of room with the ball joint, so you can get some expressive looks out of it. But it is very close to the classic Megatron visage. Now, in terms of gimmicks, what can this figure do? Move the arms out to the side, rotate the turret here around sideways, bring the barrel around, and you can flip it forward like on the original toy. Next, leaving the arms up, let's unpeg the turret again, and now we're going to grab Megatron at the torso and at the hips, pull it apart, and now this section can rotate around. The easiest way I find to do it is just grab the torso and rotate that section around. Make sure you have it somewhat lined up. Bring the torso back down into place. Snap the turret forward. Bring the barrel straight up. Bring up this section. And there you go. And of course, this was actually his Minicon gimmick mode. Leader 1, I think was the name, with Pagan over here. And then I would unlock this rotating gimmick where the whole turret could rotate around. Unfortunately, for whatever reason, the turret is locked into two extremes. So really, this can go either all the way this way, or it can go all the way this way. And thus, Megatron is locked in that position, and gives me a chance to show you its ankle tilt, which, if you notice, they have a plastic hinge that fills in the gap, which I think is kind of nice. But yeah, so then here's a nice shot of Megatron just uh, uh, you know just blasting away as it can go. Um, again, a lot of articulation to the figure, fun look to it. Um, Besides that ankle articulation, which does snap into place, you have ratcheted knees, swivels, universal joint at the hip. Um, just kind of shows you the arm articulation already. And by the way, I should mention, and it is bold. You do have ratchets at the hips there. This whole section here comes up strictly. It's not part of the transformation. It is strictly there just to do this gimmick, which, if you remember on the original Megatron toy, was also how Armada Megatron could combine with Tidal Wave. Not saying there's a Tidal Wave coming, but if it does come, Armada Megatron does have the ability, in some respects, to combine with it. The final gimmick that this toy can do is you can take either of the hands, the instructions show this one, rotate it back in, you do have a post there, you can remove the barrel, and then peg it into Megatron's hand, and there you have a hand cannon. I don't remember Megatron doing this in the show, but it is there. So you have that. So as I've said, but I have to mention, this figure is very small, and it's also very simple. So while there are a lot of fun gimmicks to it, you do have to keep in mind the price versus parts ratio, because I really don't see a lot of parts to this figure. So there is that. But I like it. I'm happy to have it. Just keep in mind of what you're going to be getting in the future with this set. So that's about it. We'll pause and we will come back with my final thoughts. Okay, so overall, I do like Armada Megatron. My only issues are the size versus the cost and the parts count. Um, another issue when I'm talking about size, in the cartoon, Megatron was supposed to scale with Optimus Prime in its super mode. In Optimus Prime's basic mode, just like the cab robot mode, Megatron was supposed to be bigger. And then the super mode was how Optimus Prime could tee up with Megatron. That's not the case here. Now, the original toys, of course, were not in scale, and actually, up until recent times, the only Megatron and Optimus toys that were like scaled to each other and could stand eye to eye were the G1. So maybe that is keeping up with that, but it's food for thought. Um, Maybe you might want to wait for a sale, or you might want to wait to see if Tidal Wave gets an official announcement. But see, there's always a little caveat. Um, if you wait for that, you run the risk of rush happening to Armada Megatron, all the people who passed on it waiting for Tidal Wave, rushing out trying to get it, and that could drive up the price. So it's a back and forth. You might also want to wait to see for the official reveal of Armada Galvatron, which will be a repaint of this figure. Who knows? But as I said at the beginning, I got this figure from the Command store. They got it in stock. Was very happy to have it. They also have the the Wave 3 Voyagers, Dirge, and Nemesis Leo Prime, or the Dark Leo Prime. So there's that. Those have not shown up anywhere else. And to be honest, I'm not really sure when these figures will be showing up at retail. I remember on Amazon the pre-order said like July or August, but lately those have been wrong. So, and Command Store is sold out right now. So unfortunately, if you really, really want Armada Megatron, your best options are going to be third-party sellers on eBay that are charging twice as much for this figure. At which point I would say wait for a retail release because it's not worth that amount of money. But that's about it for the review. If you like this review, please consider liking, commenting, and subscribing. While I will appreciate the views, the likes, comments, and subscriptions, help to communicate to YouTube through their algorithms that my channel should be exalted and held upon high. If you want to make the ultimate sign of support, I do have a Patreon. It is www.patreon.com/chuckdog1999. All I ask for is $1 a month, $12 a year. No thrills, no tears, no special rewards. All you're doing is helping me help you to help me help you bring figures like this to you, as well as keeping up the infrastructure of the channel. But as I've said in the past, and I continue to say, I know times are tough, so if you can't afford $1 a month, $12 a year, your views are more than thanks enough, and please don't consider this e-begging. This was just something for me to try, seeing as many other creators have gone for it. And, Patreon does help take a little bit of the edge off, but at the end of the day, it's up to you. As I said in my last video, right now I don't have any patrons. So, that's that. Your views are always more than thanks enough, and Patreon is just the cherry on top of an already generous sundae. That's about it. Once again, this is your old pal Chuck for Armada Megatron. We will see you next time.